Well, all right, all right, all right. Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? Oh, my goodness, we got a full house tonight. Man, we got 4 people watching. Boy, that's wrong, isn't it? Man, hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing good. Tonight's topic, going to talk about a little bit of civil liberties, and we're going to talk about the Mavic Air 2. So that's the 2 main topics for tonight. And before I get too carried away, I'm going to bring in the next POTUS, or is that POTUS? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, friends and creatures all around the world, please welcome the one and only Lloyd Mendenhall, the grumpy vlogger. Hello, Lloyd. How are you?
Hey, how you doing there, Mel? Just to answer your question.
I'd be doing a lot better if my equipment was working.
Yeah, I know that feeling. So
Apparently, my equipment don't work anymore.
Hey,
Man,
what's going on now?
well, I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, tell me. Yeah, it's
It's
I had
turned
to
on.
Run out of here real quick because Judy started coughing real bad, and I don't want her to collapse a lung because she's coughing. So I had to get her something to get that started,
Right?
or to get that stopped, I should say. And anyways, but yeah.
Okay.
I'm a little out of breath, and my coffee's still making, so.
Coffee's still making, and you're all out of breath.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah, yes.
that's a hell of a spot to be in.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
I mean, anytime coffee's still making's a problem.
Yeah. Well, I got things out of order, and then I had to run up and get us something to eat, and then come back and eat, and then it's just part of dealing with taking care of Judy,
Yeah.
and stuff that goes with that. But
You need to bring.
overall, she's doing pretty good.
You need to bring your audio up a little bit.
Yeah, I know. I realized that it was even too low for me. So let me do this, and let's go here, and let's try that. Is that better?
That's better. That's probably closer
All
to right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me see. Go ahead and say something.
Something. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yep. Okay, that's
Ladies
good.
and gentlemen, boys and girls.
That's good there. That ought to work.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Good.
First, I want to say hello, Jim and Lise Crinnan. Welcome. Long time no hear, no see. Glad you guys are doing good. Glad you guys are doing good. Hello, everybody in chat. Not only Jim Crinnan, but Jim Boyd, Chris Hope, Bob Casey, Sonari, Jim Boyd, Ron Lockwood, Art J. Bird, Rick Halber, who else? Stingray, Jody. I saw Jody in here. Backwoods Droner, my brother and dad are in. Brent Nunley's in. Paul from Phantom Hodges is in. Yeah. I think that about covers most of
Chris
it.
Hope, Ray Kelly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
All right.
So, anyway, I just can't get this out of my brain, the conversation that was going on at Art's place today.
Right. Yeah.
About how you must follow a rule that a random governor makes, or they will cite you with a ticket for $1,000 like Michigan, or some other ridiculous nonsense. I know that my channel doesn't reach a lot of people, but for those that it does reach, I would like everyone to understand no governor, no law enforcement agency, nobody in this country has the right to take away your civil liberties. They do not have the right to restrict your freedom of movement or freedom of speech or any other freedom of your inalienable rights in this country under our Constitution, written by some very smart guys. Even back in the day, they saw things that would happen today, and they covered it. They pretty much covered it.
Yeah.
So if the Center for Disease Control says, you know, you need to do this, well, no, we don't need to do it. But if it helps us stay healthy, we'll consider doing it, and we probably will do it. But don't threaten with a citation or incarceration or anything else. Because until the federal government, state or local government actually passes a law that says, if you do X, you will be cited with Z. Otherwise, they can take their Z ticket book and throw it out the window because it ain't worth the paper it's written on, people. Come on.
Yeah.
Understand
there's
that.
A lot of,
if you don't
right,
understand
there's a lot of
anything,
controversy.
understand that.
Right. Yeah. The CDC, of course, is the federal government. It's part of a branch of the federal government. And
CDC is a private company, isn't it?
no,
Center for Disease Control. That is not a government agency, is it?
yes, it is.
I'm not so sure. But either way, go ahead with your story.
Well, let me look it up first because I don't want to speak first.
I'm not sure, but I don't believe the CDC is a government agency. Their email address is not cdc.gov.
Let me check then. Center for Disease Control is the leading national public health institute of the United States. It is a United States federal agency under the Department of Health and Human Services.
Okay, it's under the Department of Health and Human Services,
Which is a federal...
which is a government agency.
Yes. So it is a federal agency. So the
Okay.
CDC can set mandates in times of crisis. The U.S. government can, under certain circumstances in times of crisis. Let's not talk about the disease control, but so that people understand what some of this is. Let's talk about let's see. Well, let's talk about some of the presidential mandates. That he's written. His presidential the presidential orders that he's written, that Donald Trump's written, the one that Obama wrote. As long as he's under these, as long as whichever administration we're from, they can write those. They can be overwritten when the next administration comes in. Okay, so they have the right under certain presidential powers to be able to enact emergency mandates under emergency circumstances, and the COVID virus has been an emergency circumstance. So they were given authority under the Department of Health and Human Services, which is a member of the cabinet. Secretary of Health and Human Services is a cabinet position, so they work directly for the presidents. Boom, 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 on down the line, CDC. So the CDC can tell us to do it. Under federal law.
They can make a recommendation.
They can do it because they're a federal agency, and they can enforce anything that is a danger to the public and or the government at large falls under those authorities. It's not but now the states, that's a whole different story. These governors that say if
you go out driving, I'm going to cite you $1,000 ticket.
Right. If the powers of, in other words, if a state agency, not a federal agency, but a state agency says something that supersedes the Constitution or the Bill of Rights, well, then that, of course, you have to challenge it. But the point is that is illegal. So, but if the CDC says that, you can't leave the house, not at any point did they ever issue a federal mandate that said everybody had to stay in. But they stepped around that by saying state governors. They ceded their authority to the state governors.
Mm-hmm.
They are allowed to do that. Okay? So a state governor, under the same powers, very similar powers to the president, writing a presidential order, governors can do that up to a point. But then they have to receive, then they have to go to Congress. It's usually like 60 or 90 days is as far as that'll go under the state. And then they have to go to the state legislature and have them enact a law.
Right.
But,
but they can't just on a whim take away your rights.
No, but under Emergency Powers Act granted to them through the federal government, which was done by the president and the Department of Health and Human Services, they deferred to the state governors. And the governors now have the authority in their hands to do that under the mandates of what's best for their state. So it's a two-edged sword,
Yep.
It goes back to what I've said and what one of my government teachers said in college. In order to live in a civilized society, we have to give up certain natural rights. For example, it's one I like to use all the time when I'm talking about this, is when my neighbor turns up, my neighbors across the street, they turn up their oompa band that's high on tequila. In other words, their Mexican music. Anyway, that's why I call it oompa band on tequila. When they turn that up too loud, I could step outside and shoot them because I don't like their music. Now, that's my natural right of, hey, I've got a bigger gun, survival of the fittest, that's natural. But that's not civilized. In order to live in a civilized society, I have to pay a penalty for shooting them.
Right.
That is the loss of my gun, the loss of my freedom, and possibly the loss of my life. So those are the things that we give up under, and the Bill of Rights, covers, 20, there's 26 of them, 27 of them now?
Yeah.
Covers certain things, but it still doesn't cover everything.
No.
So we have Congress that makes laws, they give presidential powers.
And there's a lot of different people that have certain authority that I think are stretching their authority.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt about it. They're abusing their authority.
Abuse of power, I guess, yeah.
Yeah. Governors,
which makes me,
especially in the liberal states.
Which makes me, that makes the rebel on the back of my hat turn around frontwards and no, you're not taking away my rights. You don't have the authority to do that. Period.
They do and they don't, because
their
authority was given to them by the president because under the national crisis.
Now, unless it's a full-on national emergency and he, the president, activates Homeland Security military, National Guard, Coast Guard, all of that, unless he pulls the trigger on all of that, what level of national emergency is it?
Well,
especially when they're lying to us.
Well,
you get in a car accident tomorrow, and if you had the cold, which is a COVID virus, I don't know what number it is, but probably 1, because the cold's been around forever. Okay.
Well, a cold and the flu are two different things. If you have the flu, that's different than a head cold. One's bacterial, one's viral.
Yeah, but there's two colds. But anyway, because one cold is a virus, and that's why they can't make a cure for it.
Right.
is what they
They had
always say
told-
anyway.
Yeah.
So
Right.
anyway, if they,
You're killed in a car accident, a respiratory accident,
and
or
they,
you have respiratory disease at the same time.
sure,
Or,
then they're going to say that you died of COVID-19, not complications from being mangled in a car accident. Okay?
that's
So
yeah.
that's all
They've
over.
had to readjust the numbers because
Boy,
of
I'll
that.
say. And they still probably
Because-
don't have them right.
No, they don't have them all. Here's something else. Now, this is something you heard me talk about on Art Show, and that's the many people that are what they're classifying now as super carriers. Now, these are people that didn't get a fever, they didn't feel bad, they didn't ache, they didn't show any signs. There was no clue whatsoever
Mm-hmm.
that they had the COVID-19 virus. But once they're tested, or once they trace back, well, who were you in contact with, blah, 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 and they go back and they test each one of these, because this is, I hate to say it, but COVID-19 is sort of like syphilis. They got to contact all of the people you've been in contact with,
Yep.
and let them know. Yep, hey, he's got the
And they're going
nose
to
crabs.
they're going to start doing that.
Well, they already are. They're doing that. Anytime you are
No, I
test
mean,
positive for COVID,
They're starting a task force now. It's going to take how many? Sonari was the count on the task force that is going to do all the backtracking of who was where when and all that.
Well-
It was like 400,000 of these people or something.
Yeah,
4,000.
there's well.
It was some crazy
one
number.
Example, yeah, the one example I'm getting, there was actually two different groups, but the one that I'm going to mention is the Indian healthcare system, which is a government-run. It's financed in part, at least here in Oklahoma. The one in Tahlequah is financed by the Cherokee Nation. There's where your bingo money goes, folks, to help them pay for their own health care instead of taking it out of our pockets.
Yep.
We play bingo or we gamble, and that helps. If it's a Cherokee casino, it helps them. If it's a Muskogee casino, it helps the Creek Nation or Muskogee Nation. Blah 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 blah.
That's it.
Anyway.
Contact tracers. That's the phrase.
Contact tracers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
they
glad
are
somebody
already doing
remembers
that.
things.
They're already doing that in the Cherokee Nation. Any person that is diagnosed with COVID-19, they are tracing back and contacting all of their people. And so this plan is in place. The government's been doing it. And if you remember, God, it was before COVID even hit the United States. And I went up to the VA hospital and I had to go, because I did a vlog on it talking about, well, we're practicing for COVID-19. I'm going, I thought all you had to do was catch it. I didn't know you had to practice for it, But
Yeah.
the VA already had everything in place.
It was here,
we're
though.
talking
It was
about-
here already then. It just wasn't very bad in Oklahoma yet.
It hadn't even hit Oklahoma at that point. See, we didn't get our first cases until well after everybody else did in Oklahoma. We were one of the last 4 states to even get a case.
Yeah.
But
But-
so it wasn't even in Oklahoma. But anyways, my point is the government's already been gearing up for this, just as it was hitting New York and California. Just as it was
But
starting to come in.
we still have to know our legal rights, though, and our inalienable rights, because this fall, when cold and flu season hits again, that's
Right.
just going to be an excuse to shut everything down again. And they're
Well,
going to say,
they-
everybody stay in your house so that you don't spread nothing or catch nothing from somebody else spreading it, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and you also have to look at this. I don't see under the current administration that happening. come next January, if he's not still in place, yeah, that's probably going to happen. And they're going to shut us down. That's when the revolution starts. Okay? But
there's going to be
the
something start.
Democrats or the
I said there'll be something start.
Oh yeah, yeah. And this was the perfect storm. This was the perfect situation for the liberal run states to be able to put into place their abilities to restrict the citizens of their state, and they have done it. And that's why, a lot of the false reporting is going on by the press, not the government as we see it. We're only seeing what they want to put out there. Unless you dig through the troves of information out there and watch each and every one of them, you're not going to know what's really going on. And that's, of course, every citizen's duty to do that. That's why we have shows like this and talk about this stuff,
Right.
Why I'm on our show. But a lot of the crap you're hearing in the press is, I gave the example today, they were, Art was talking about, they were throwing conniption fits about him taking that, whatever it is, that anti-malarial drug,
Oh yeah,
they got a group of 700 doctors that belong to the southeastern United States, upper New Hampshire Medical Society and Gurus Anonymous, and they all signed a letter and said he's killing himself. Who knows who these crackpots are? And if they even signed it, the news just found somebody. They found 700 doctors that would agree with them. How many doctors are in the United States?
701.
A lot more than that. Yeah, no, there's a hell of a lot more than that. And it comes down to they're looking, hey, I can go out there and find a poll right now that says I'm beating Trump and Biden. If in the election, if the election were held today, I can get a poll that would say I'm going to beat them both.
Mm-hmm.
We both know it's bull crap.
Right.
I could certainly send it to Trump and say, hey, buddy, you might want to consider me for a cabinet position because otherwise I'm running against you. Look at this poll. And he's going to laugh. He's going to say, yeah, I got 3 or 4 like that myself.
Yep. And
you got to be aware. And here's the other thing. We get a lot of our information word of mouth, but Granny Smith down the road just saw on MSNBC, because she's watched NBC since she was a little girl. She listened to it on the radio and remembers the chime of those, ding, ding, dong, or whatever it was. So she trusts them. And now she's gone and told all of her 250 great-grandchildren that they're saying it's such and such. Well, 90% of them know that Granny's senile, but the other 10%, they believe her. So they run out there and they start telling their friends, and they convince their conservative friends. Now all of a sudden the conservative friends are believing this. And then when you're down at the Taco Bell sitting there having a good taco, and you hear people talking out in the parking lot about it, and you're like, oh my God, really? I can't wait to tell somebody. And so you go tell your kids, and they know that you wouldn't tell them something that was from a bunch of bleeding heart liberals.
At least not deliberately, right?
And that's how the disinformation gets passed. That's exactly how it gets passed. Read, learn, study, understand your civil rights, which is what your whole point was in the beginning of this.
Yep.
I took it off the rail, of course, but, I do this to Art all the time, so I apologize. Anyways.
Just understand that nobody in this country has the right to just take away your civil liberties. Nobody. And that includes the president. They have to put things in place and set things up. They can't just take them away.
Right. And he didn't just do that either. I mean, there were certain things that he had to go through under the, you know, uh, because I'm sure if you look somewhere, and I'm sure if I looked, there is somewhere that gives the president the authority to enact certain health issues as related to a widespread epidemic or pandemic. I'm sure there's a rule there for that.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
if
There's
you
stuff
look,
in place for that.
and
But
if you look at the Constitution, well, it's not in there. But the Constitution gives Congress and it gives the three branches certain powers and to enact certain things.
mm-hmm.
And after that, the Constitution is no longer part of the formula. As long as it doesn't go beyond what the Constitution, break other parts of the Constitution, and
Right.
it's under the authority given by the Constitution, well then, we can take it to court, and the
they
court
have
can
to
decide if it's
they
a
have to
violation.
follow it as much as we do. Exactly.
They do, but if that's the problem with some of the Bill of Rights, or not the Bill of Rights, but part of the the amendments, not the Bill of Rights, but the amendments themselves. All of the amendments, some of them, because of certain authorities they give, may cause other parts of other amendments to be in violation, or other articles of the Constitution to be
Right.
violated. You
Right.
have to know it all to form. And I'm not a lawyer or a politician or even
Me
a
neither.
presidential candidate, except here.
Here's good enough for everybody else.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But yeah,
Hi,
anyways,
Rodney.
you want to talk about some other things, and I want to run and get me a cup of coffee. So I've hogged the conversation. I'm going to give you your show back for a minute.
Okay, and then I'm going to give it to you so that I can get another cup of coffee because mine's empty.
Okay.
It's got a leak. I don't know what the problem is.
Yeah, I don't know. Mine's probably cold, so I'll have to put it in the microwave. I'll be right back, my friend.
And when you
And
get
everybody
back,
in the chat,
we're going to have a special guest come in and join us.
excellent,
Yeah.
excellent. I will be back just shortly.
Well, hurry up. So, what do y'all think about that nonsense? Did I get on a rant there or what? I don't know. It just really bugs me that wow, Rick, thank you very much. You need some stickers. Okay, they're on the way. It just really bugs me that states are making rules and threatening $1,000 citation tickets and things if you go drive in your car, or you do this or you do that, or whatever the case might be. And that is just so wrong. And the people in general are falling for it. They're like, okay, whatever you say. To me, that's just wrong. I mean, don't disregard authority, but it's okay to have a fair and reasonable amount of question of authority. I mean, this is still a free country. We fly the American flag for a reason, and it represents all of us. And that kind of whole thing sort of kind of leads me into my little rant about this weekend. It's been moved from a really important thing to hamburgers and hot dogs on the barbecue grill and getting together with your friends, everybody on the block. I remember block parties. We used to have a street party. Whole street would come. We'd have a barbecue cookout. But it's about more than that. It's about the people of this country that sacrifice, either in the military or out. It doesn't matter to me. Because if you're in the military, then your spouse, loved ones, family members that are not, have sacrificed almost as much as you, maybe more. Those that didn't make it home. That touches me because I've stood beside them guys a long time ago. Many of us have. Many of us have. So that's what this weekend is about. And I just wanted to get everybody's blood pumping before I talked about what I wanted to talk about. And that was what this weekend really means. Now, that's done with, Lloyd is back in his chair, so I'm going to turn his mic on, and I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to turn this mic on, and I would like the special guest to just say one word, say hello, and see if Lloyd can figure out who it is. So, special guest, just say
Hello.
one word. Oh, do it again. I was talking over you.
Hello.
That's Bob Casey.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Bob.
How you doing, good fool, Lloyd?
He has
welcome.
a- Bob, you have a unique sound to your voice that I would recognize anywhere
Yeah.
after I heard it the first time.
It's got. I had that surgery on my neck, and it made my voice raspy. Yeah, it's one of a kind. I don't know about this special guest stuff, though. I'm not that special.
Hey, yeah, you are. Anytime somebody can sit beside Lloyd, that's pretty special. I think your beard got longer and mine
Well,
got
it's a
shorter.
pleasure. It's a
So,
pleasure to sit beside Lloyd.
how about that
And it's a
Mavic Air
pleasure having you
2?
here too.
What about it?
Go ahead, Mel.
I
What-
couldn't tell you much other than what everybody else don't already know. You know.
Well, no, you can tell us what you really think about it, though. Things like you told me about the
Oh, I
controller
love
feeling top heavy, and the app is kind of hard to get used to. And just give us your thoughts, what you think about it.
Well, there were several things that I mentioned in the chat on Matt's show, and that one thing, you got to check your settings because they drop. After you fly, you completely pull a battery out, these settings will drop. You have to reset them again. That's
Which
only happened
settings?
twice.
Which settings?
Other times, settings on your flying, your return to home, your altitude, those settings will drop. They'll go back to zero. They did that to me twice.
Really?
Another thing is, and another thing is, I set it on the edge of the sidewalk, and I went to launch it, but I didn't spread the props. And when I didn't do that, it was about an inch from the sidewalk. It spun funny and off the sidewalk, so I immediately shut it down. And I noticed one thing that you got to do is you got to spread those props because these are tight. For some reason, they're tight, and they don't. You know how the
They don't-
Phantoms and the Mavics, they have a three run, you know.
Yeah.
Just don't do that.
Oh.
Just comes off to a hum.
So you're recommending as
Check
part
the
of the
back-
pre-flight
Jane
for the
said you gotta
Mavic
check
Air
the
2 to
pre-flight.
straighten the props out.
Open them up.
Yeah.
That's one thing I did notice. I noticed that the hard way. It could have been worse. But that's the only thing that I've noticed. Other than that, when you're, if I was to get a bracket, you know, to put a pad on there, which I just use my iPhone 10, and I noticed that it's heavy. And I'm used to the old Air, where your phone's on the bottom, so I could put my palms right there on the phone, and I can pinch.
Right.
But
Right.
these new ones right here, I can't do that. You know, because your phone is up here on top. It's a little heavy. I can't pinch, so I noticed I'm using my thumbs a lot more. And you know, if you're going to make a good maneuver or a hard maneuver, you want to catch something just right. It's a little bit tougher just using them thumbs, but you can get used to it. It's like anything. You get
Yeah.
used to it, I guess.
Yeah.
But
What
I'm
else?
enjoying it. It's a wonderful bird.
So you're really liking it a lot.
And when it drops, when you come down with it, it comes down, man. The old air just takes its pretty little time coming down. It just
Yeah.
it comes down slow, but this one here, it just boom, it just comes down.
Yeah, it drops like a regular Mavic. Yep. Yep.
I'm sure other guys that's been flying it know. You know, there's plenty of them out there that's bought them, and there's probably nothing I can say that's going to help that they don't already know. You know, there's some
Yeah.
good pilots out there, and that's
Yeah.
one thing I can say about this community. And we all stay in tune with each other. We bang off each other and see what each other's got going on, and
Mm-hmm.
hear what they got to say. Research the tubes and find out different things. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I know you've got some video you wanted to share, but with the iPad, I'm not sure
Yeah,
how
that's
you would
something I
do
don't know.
that. Uh,
Yeah, we had a bunch of trouble with that today. Me and Mel
If-
have been working on trying to get this working on this vMix,
Yeah.
and it would not do it through my cell phone. I don't know. You can
Yeah,
explain that better than I can, Lloyd. You've seen it on yours, right?
Yeah. Right. It did the same thing. It's coming up and says UDP is not accessible. So it only did it on the
on the
iPhone 10 is the one I've got, the XR.
Well, it does it on the iPhone when it's on its own internet. When you've got the Wi-Fi turned on and you're connected to your router,
It still does
doesn't.
it.
Oh, does it?
No. Yeah. I tried it both ways. Remember, Mel?
Oh, that's right. Because then we switched it and shut
Yeah.
the router off. Yeah.
We switched
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I started out on my own router and then switched it to the to its own internet, and it came up with the same thing. So it's got to be a setting inside the iPhone.
yeah. Okay.
And
So now, how
I
does?
suspect it.
I'm sorry.
I just suspect that it probably is anything like the iPhone 10 and above.
Mhm.
But I didn't think to try it with Judy's iPhone 8 or even my iPhone 6, you know. But
I didn't either.
yeah,
So with the iPad tablet, he's got a video that he transferred over to the iPad that he's using to be on screen right now. So what does he have to do to play a video clip?
I don't see nothing where I can share screen on here, Mel. I had to
didn't know
airdrop
on
it. I took it off my phone, downloaded it from my phone, and I airdropped it to the iPad.
Right.
But I don't know this vMix, and so I thought that there would be some place on here where I could share the screen. I don't see it, unless I'm missing it.
No.
I don't think you are. Let me see. Let me look real quick.
I'm not used to these live streams, guys. You guys are veterans.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Well, that's why I said earlier today, Bob. I said if you put it in Dropbox or something where I can get it, then I can play it. Or
Yeah,
if you were to
that's the best way
temporarily
to
load
do
it
it.
to your YouTube channel, then I could play it from there. But it's okay either way.
Okay.
I don't know how
Well, I
else to
thought this
do
would
it.
work.
what I
That's the reason why
wanted.
I went this way.
Well, this is the way that it'll work for when you connect up to be on the show.
See, I would be able to play a video simply because I'm using vMix. All this crap spinning around up here and this crap behind me is all part of my vMix. And I just host a call.
Right.
Well, I don't host a call. I set up a call input that goes directly to Mel on the number he gives me. I don't use vMix call in the browser at all.
Right.
But that's because I have vMix. In your case,
I think it would. The video would have to be somewhere where I could grab it to play it.
yeah.
So we'll work on that for next time. Maybe submit the video, Bob. And while we're talking about submitting videos. Everybody hang on real quick. I made a new place here. If you want to send a video in, a video link, 400agluploads@gmail.com. That's where you would email a video link if you want to have a video played on the show during the Sunday night show. And also, if you were to have something that you might want to send, then we conveniently have a P.O. box set up, P.O. Box 12, Holiday, Tennessee 38341. So that would be the easy way to get a video link in or get a package DJI sent over to me, 400AGL. Like how I worked that in there?
Yeah.
And
I'm just looking to see.
Background clips. And I just happen to have a background clip that I'm going to go ahead and play here real quick. Play part of it. I'm going to make sure I turn the audio down. You know, every time I play something from somebody else, I get a copyright claim filed.
Right?
When I played that song from Wendell and Dennis Lovelady last week,
Yeah.
I got not
heard about
one,
that.
but I got 1 plus 6. I got 7 copyright claims because of the Willie Nelson music.
Okay. Were they all from the same company?
No, it was about 4
Okay.
different companies.
All right.
Wow.
That means that means all you had to do was protest it and say, I need to say which one of these companies have exclusive rights to this music.
Well, one of them I think was Epidemic, so
But it doesn't matter. It does not have exclusive rights because that same music you can pick up from several other different sites that allow music. If they do not have exclusive 100% rights, they have no right under fair use to hit you with a copyright.
okay.
Which
But
meant you wouldn't have had to take the music down because you had 4 different companies. Each one of them, not one of them had exclusive rights. Now, if they're all part of Epidemic Sound, if all 4 of those, but there's a rule, and I'll get Greg to talk about it on his show next Friday, because this has come up before and I've discussed it, and I'm old, and I've slept since Friday.
boy, I'll
At
say.
least once. And Mel, I've probably forgotten more than you and I put together will ever know. But anyways,
Well, let's not pile it on too deep now. I tell you what, on that thought, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to play a video. And I have the audio muted. And this video is sent to us from Art Carlson from Artco Drone Solutions. And I'm sorry, Art, I'm not going to play the audio, but I will let the video run. Let me turn Lloyd and Bob's audio back on so that they can comment. And you guys can just enjoy the video
he's
with
ready,
Art
Andy.
and
recognize both
Ron.
them characters.
I'm going to go
He's
get my
ready.
coffee cup filled
Look
up.
at that grin.
Art looks like he's about ready to bail on this whole thing, or he's going to get thrown. He's waiting for Ron to push the ejection, one of them buttons for the ejection seat. There goes
He's
Art.
looking down pretty hard.
Well, at least Art's having fun, and so obviously Ron is too. I'm just sitting there thinking, oh, my aching back.
Boy, Ron's got the country, doesn't he?
I have said this before. I've told this to Ron many a time, and when we've talked about stuff on the phone, and I've said it. He lives in God's country. If you don't believe in a in a greater power than ours, just go to Montana or South Dakota or North Dakota, you know. And if you want to see what hell's like freezing over, go to Canada.
And right now I'm hell frozen over in Canada. Right now I'm not hearing any music on this. But there's lots of audio.
I bet you're glad of that with 7 copyright strikes.
Yeah.
What do you do to get to ease that dilemma? What do you do? Have to go to each person individually, talk to them, or how do you go about alleviating this problem?
Well, you
You just
challenge it
remove
through
the music.
YouTube originally.
Right.
Yeah. And you can often get it taken care of that way, but they have
And
to.
that is the argument for the challenge.
And
is
and the people
you have
have
been
to
hit by
prove that
multiple
they have the
people?
rights. Yeah.
So you're requesting that each one of those prove which one of them has the exclusive copyrights. Or, you know,
One click
You
of the
can let
mouse,
them
you
share.
can remove the music from your video.
Right. Or you can share the profits, which in all likelihood, that one show, they would have gotten maybe 2 cents out of it.
Yeah. So the show would, if the show
Sometimes you
made
have
2
to
1/4
decide-
pennies, I'd get a 1/4 penny and they'd get 2. I don't care if it's a half penny. I don't want to share it with anybody, so I just mute the audio
Well,
when that happens.
And you have to decide, how does it affect the quality of your show? How does it affect your bottom line? Is it worth the hassle or not?
Yeah.
So the
Now, I
7
see
claims
Art
are
shooting.
coming through YouTube, right?
I see Art shooting his laser light at the drone right here. He should have had his little BB
he
thing
won
on
that
there.
spin up.
He should have had his little BB thing on there where he could shoot them plastic BBs at the drone. I think that would have been.
He should get a lottery ticket. He's the luckiest guy. He wins all the time.
Yeah, boy, he does.
Oh, yeah.
But look at
Yeah.
look at some of the weather in the background and stuff that they had going on
Oh,
up
yeah.
there.
You got to think about it. Art winning so much, he's a little guy, right? A little small person, whatever. Like Leprechaun. Everybody knows leprechauns are lucky. Sorry, Art. I had to
Almost
go there.
bit my coffee, Lloyd.
I'm sorry, Art. You know I mean it with love, my friend.
Oh my goodness. So anyway, Art had a good time fishing, and he had a good time driving his RoboMaster around, and I thought he was going to have some of that video from the drone, chasing the RoboMaster, but I never did see any of that going on. So anyway, this is all just footage from the RoboMaster, but good job, Art. Looks like you're learning how to drive that thing
Excellent.
pretty well.
Yeah.
Yep. So anyway,
I may not be invited back to Art's show
Well, that's
next
a nice
week
shot.
after that comment. Oh, he said laugh out loud. Okay.
yeah, I think he's okay.
Art's got a great sense of humor.
Well, when you're that little, you have to.
No, you could have a bad attitude,
I guess carry a big gun.
He probably does.
That's it.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so that was the only video
down
that
that
was
rabbit hole,
submitted
are we?
this week. No, we're going to stay clear of that. So anyway,
Okay.
if you want to send a video link to be played on the show, right there, 400AGL uploads at gmail.com. That's the place to send it to. So, Bob, you're really impressed with that Mavic 2 Air. Are you over the Mavic Air or Mavic Air 2?
Well, it's the hockey. It's the hockey sink. That's what does it for me.
Yeah.
But I did have. I sent it out over the woods. I got nothing but woods behind me, and I sent it out. I got to 1,600 feet. And it said weak signal. So I didn't push it, which I should have just to see what it would do. But I went ahead and turned it around and came back. But
Well-
I had no interference whatsoever, so I don't understand that. It must have been the trees that was blocking the signal or something.
Yeah, if you go high, go as high as you can. And then just know that
I was
the
at
video
386.
the video signal will quit before the control signal. And
Right.
if you've got all your settings set right, if the drone loses contact with the controller, it should return to home.
Turn it
So,
on. Right.
Yeah.
I never trust all those things. I always, I just don't push the limits. But
Yeah, and because
Well, it was
mine
about
never
about
gets
the
over.
third battery, so I just didn't want to push it.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, because mine never gets over 96 feet in the air. That's my top altitude so far, and it's gotten, 300 feet from me. I don't really know how that works, but when it says weak signal, is it referring to the video signal?
yes.
Okay.
The first thing that quits
And
is the video signal.
Does the video signal work on OcuSync, or is it or does OcuSync only refer to the control signal?
I think it's controlled.
Well, that I don't know.
What reason why I got it?
Nobody ever answers. Nobody's ever. I don't think anybody's ever asked it. Only me for Rodney Bell.
Rodney Bell, thank you, sir. And you know what? I think I saw
That's
one
another-
earlier.
It's
Wasn't
another
there a
awesome
super
guy.
chat earlier? Yes, there was. Rick Halber. And I didn't set the cannons off. I'm sorry, Rick. Thank you, guys. I
And-
really appreciate that.
Steve Carpenter is driving, but he can't talk. But for those of you that aren't aware, which I'm sure everybody does, Steve's mother passed away this last week.
Yes. And
My deepest condolences to Steve. I've
exactly.
already told him
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
Yep, me too.
Yeah.
So,
He and I've had, and I was dealing with the stuff.
I
with
called
Judy.
Steve.
Well, go ahead.
Go ahead, Lloyd. I called Steve Mr.
Well, what I-
Congenial. He's just nice.
He
guy.
is. Yeah, he's one of the
And that's
nicest
the way I
guys.
look at it. If you
Like I
can't say
said-
nothing nice, don't say nothing at all.
yeah.
Right, that's it. Yeah, he's such a nice guy, and like I said, I was dealing with this stuff with Judy this week, with her being in the hospital and all that, and he's sitting here texting me and thinking kind. We're chatting back and forth, and at no point had he told me that his mom had passed away, and then we get her home from the hospital is on Thursday, and Thursday evening, and I was expecting a package, and the doorbell rings, and I think, oh, there they are, it's the package, something I'd ordered for Judy, and there's a gal standing out there holding a big bouquet of flowers, in a nice glass vase, and it was from Steve. He took the time out in the midst of his grief to send flowers to Judy. Because
A very thoughtful guy. Very thoughtful guy. Very nice guy.
you couldn't ask for a nicer guy, And actually, even Lon Dennard, all included, everybody in this community are nice people. I'll even include Lon in that.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's stretching it for me.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, just as long as I don't make that nice
Nicest
people
bunch of
list.
guys.
I don't want that nice people list.
I didn't expect this. When I rode with Mel
No, you'll never
Spin
make
Up,
it.
and I'd been into the drone thing for probably, since 2016, I got into it. And then I got down there with Mel at Spin Up, and I couldn't believe how friendly all these guys were. And their persona is what you see on the YouTubes is exactly the way they are.
Pretty
I
much.
mean,
Most,
like
yep.
Rick Halber,
Yeah.
Rick Halber, Heart of Gold. I said that a long time ago, and I'll say it again. Was overwhelmed. I'm not going to lie to you. I just about cried when he sent me that knife. I thought, why would anybody send me a knife just out of the blue? And that just tells you what kind of heart the guy's got. And it struck my heart. It
Yeah.
really did. It struck me hard.
Yep.
And I thank you, Rick.
Yeah. Like that's what I mean. This is one of the kindest giving bunch of people. we get in our spats. We're like any family. We may not always agree with every person on every channel about everything, about every subject, you know. But at the end of the day, when it's something important, life and death, health, needs, and stuff like that, they're always there for you.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
and sometimes you don't even realize, you need that boost or that kind of kick, and that little, like with Judy, because some of the news we got wasn't 100% positive. But it's and I mean, Steve sending those flowers put a smile on her face. She was just so touched. That's what she needed, and so like I said, this is the most giving bunch of people, and I did want to recognize Steve though, because his mother has passed, and he wrote one of the most moving statements I've ever seen about the passing of his mother up on
Yep.
on
That was
Facebook,
fantastic.
I think it was.
Yeah, it was on Facebook.
That was such a memorial
It
to
was.
his mother.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Now we got to change gears because we just about got to get out of here because Mitch has already started his show, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
It's that time of night. Nathaniel,
The professor.
what is Fly More DJI? Fly More. I'm assuming you're talking about what we call the Fly More kit, or what DJI calls the Fly More kit. When you buy a drone from DJI, you get a controller, a battery, and a drone. Period. In most cases. When you buy a drone with a Fly More kit, you get a drone with a battery, with a controller, with 2 extra batteries, some extra props, usually a battery adapter that you can plug onto the battery that has a couple of USB ports on it that you can use to charge other devices like a tablet or anything else that you can plug a USB charger into, your phone, whatever. Typically that's the stuff that you get in a Fly More, and I presume that's what you mean by that question. Don't forget, everybody, Mitch starts at 8 o'clock. Usually if I run over, he might wait a little while, but he's probably about ready to go. I'm sure he's chomping at the bit. So I
Kelly
hope
did
that...
a good video on that.
What was that?
Ready, Set, Drone. Ready, Set, Drone did a good video on the Fly More combo, saying what you could get and how much more you would get if
Yep.
you bought the Fly More combo. It comes out about $250, I can't remember, it was $200 and something dollars.
Well,
You know,
it's
Of more stuff.
the
You get 2 extra batteries, you're getting lenses,
the drone
you get
itself.
filters, ND filters.
Yeah, the standard kit is about, I think, $788, about $800, and with the Fly More, it's $280 more. It's $1,088, but you get 2 extra batteries. You get the ND filters. You get the travel case thing. You get the battery connectors. You get extra props. You get quite a bit, and the batteries are the batteries for that thing are like $115 or $20 a piece. So you add 2 more batteries in for a total of 3, and now you're looking at an extra $230 right there just for the 2 extra batteries. So
Yeah.
the extra money that you spend on the Fly More kit really makes it worth it with getting the extra stuff to go with
Yeah.
the drone. How was your flight time on that,
Yeah,
Bob?
so-
Have you run a battery from start to finish yet?
Yep. 27.
In about 27 minutes? Good deal. What was the wind?
And of course, I could have pushed it and probably got another minute, maybe, or 2. I don't know.
Yeah.
27 minutes is, and that was bringing it home about 20%.
20%, yeah.
Oh, at 20%? Hell, you had 5 more minutes or more then. Okay.
Probably.
Yeah. All right. Well, Mr. Chris Hope, thank you for posting links all evening. I truly appreciate it.
Absolutely appreciate it.
That's another good guy.
All of the spectators,
Brother Hope.
I need to mention this earlier in the show because I totally forgot tonight. Anybody that might be watching on my Facebook page, because I am simulcasting to Facebook as well. You need to comment that you watched it on Facebook or that you got the link from Facebook and you came over to the YouTube side of it to watch from there. And I appreciate you watching. I'm going to take that opportunity to stop the stream on Facebook and go ahead and cut it off because it doesn't need to continue to go. And Bob, thank you very much for coming in tonight, talking a little bit about your Mavic Air 2. And thanks for getting on screen and getting on camera and hanging out and visiting with us for a little while. Really appreciate it. Hey,
I appreciate you asking me. Lloyd,
you did.
Take care, Lloyd.
You did good. We're glad. We want to have you come
too,
back.
Bob. Yeah, we look forward to having you on here again.
I just get nervous, man. Can't help it.
Ain't nothing to get nervous about.
Just be who you are. That's what I do.
Just do what you do. That's right. All right, Bob.
Right.
Thank you very much. Enjoy yourself tomorrow.
Thank you. Take care.
All right, Lloyd. That's gonna just about wrap us up for the evening. What do you think?
So, yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna play a.
Does it?
I don't think I'm gonna play an outro timer. I think I'm just gonna pull the plug. So.
Okay.
I appreciate everybody that spent your evening with us. I appreciate the super chats. Let me give those guys an extra cannon shot right now just for the fun of it, because I really do appreciate the extra super chats. That comes in handy.
Yeah.
Being as I got a drone I'm fixing to send to DJI to get repaired. I'm going to need that extra money. So,
yeah.
Lloyd, thank you for being here. Thank you for answering my questions and helping me run the test on the iPhone earlier today. Everybody in chat, I really do appreciate y'all coming in and watching and participating and being part of the show. You could have been anywhere. You chose to be here, and I do truly appreciate it. And on that note, I'm going to say good night, everybody. Hope you have a safe continuance of your weekend, because there's still more to go. And I'm off tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Cool.
Good night, Lloyd.
Good night, Mel.